10864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
Is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
Deep to right field at the warning track. See ya.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
At the buzzer.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now. It's really fun to be a part of.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Huge win for Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
It is so good to be back. I'll tell you what, Scottsdale was fine. You know, didn't go as well as we would have liked for Oregon baseball. We've got a full preview coming up for you of the NCAA baseball tournament. Women's golf, congratulations on just a tremendous, tremendous season. NCAA runner-up. You know that they wanted to win the darn thing. They were that close to winning the darn thing. They lost to Stanford in the match play portion of the national championship 3-2. I still say a great season for Oregon women's golf. Men's golf, they almost made it to that match play round. Very similar to what the women's golf team did last year. They almost made it to that match play round. But their season came to a close yesterday. I hope that everybody enjoyed a great Memorial Day holiday. And for Oregon baseball, well, I was hoping that we'd be traveling back tomorrow. Instead, it was already here and finding out their selection fate. And, well, we know that the Ducks are traveling to Louisville. So, programming note for you. We have some kickoff times. We also have all the NCAA qualifiers for Oregon track and field. Congratulations after a great run out in Arkansas for the West prelims. The Ducks now know who is qualified and for what, and we'll tell you about that coming up because Hayward Field will host the NCAA championships not this week, but next week at Hayward Field. That's all on the horizon in addition to the NCAA baseball tournament. And we've also got a special interview that we're actually recording this afternoon. It is the 50th anniversary of the Daisy Ducks. I'll be honest, I didn't know that until somebody pointed it out to me that it's the 50th anniversary of the Daisy Ducks. And so on the show later this week, I'm going to record the interview this afternoon. A couple members of the Daisies are going to tell us a little bit about the origin story that, I'll be honest, I work in Oregon athletics. I'm in the Casanova Center pretty much 7 days a week this time of year. I don't know the origin story of the Daisy Ducks. Scott Phillips is one of the longest tenured members of the Oregon Athletic Department, working on his third decade of service, and I don't think you know the origin story. So we're going to find that out together, kind of a special thing going on this year. It's also the 50th anniversary of Title IX that we'll be talking about. And so that's on the horizon, and we have some football kickoff times as well. Let's talk a little bit of golf and a little bit of baseball. So, without further ado, kickoff times! We are 95 days away from kickoff. 95 days away from kickoff. Oregon against Georgia and Atlanta, 12:30 on ABC. We already knew that kickoff time. That was announced a couple weeks ago. We now know that the Ducks will play Eastern Washington at 5:30 at home on the Pac-12 Network. That's on September 10th, 5:30 on the Pac-12 Network. That means a 3:30 pregame show for us here on the Oregon Sports Network with Jerry Jorge, myself, Terry Johns, John Lundquist will be there. BYU in a marquee non-conference matchup for the Ducks on the 17th of September. 12:30 the kickoff time on Fox. That means Oregon gets a 12:30 on ABC to open the year, a 12:30 against BYU, the third game of the year, and then Eastern Washington, the 5:30 marquee Pac-12 game. So I'd say pretty good windows for the Ducks in terms of the kick time and the television audience on the national networks because the BYU game is going to be on Fox. The Georgia game will be on ABC. Also, the Oregon State game has been moved to Saturday after Thanksgiving. Was originally set to be Friday as part of that Friday-Saturday alternation that takes place with the rivalry matchup. It's going to be on Saturday after Thanksgiving. My hunch is that that's because of the 85th birthday of Phil Knight, the PK85, because that tournament will be Thursday, Friday, and Sunday is my understanding. I don't know that for sure, but that's just my hunch from seeing the times and the dates being moved around. So against Georgia at 12:30 on ABC, first game of the year on September 3rd. Then against Eastern Washington at 5:30 on the Pac-12 Network, the home opener on September 10th. And then the marquee non-conference matchup with BYU, 12:30 on Fox on September 17th. And the Oregon State game will be played on Saturday after Thanksgiving rather than Friday for Oregon football. Baseball, the Pac-12 tournament. Well, Wednesday against Arizona was a well-played game where the Ducks fell 8-6. Then on Thursday against Arizona State in the losers bracket, Ducks got down in the third, fought back, but fell 4-2. No Brendan Malone in the lineup in that game, and the Ducks, it felt like they just didn't play their best. So it was an early exit. Ducks were the first team eliminated from the Pac-12 tournament, so they had to come home, and it was not a fun trip home. Not a fun trip home. When you lose, never a fun trip home. But the baseball postseason is now upon us. So the Ducks are a number 2 seed. They were on the bubble heading into the Pac-12 tournament, maybe would be hosting a regional. Well, didn't do what they needed to do. So now the Ducks will be taking on Michigan as part of that NCAA Division I baseball championship on the road to the College World Series. Tennessee earned the number 1 national seed, Stanford number 2, and Oregon State number 3. 2 of the top 3 national seeds are from the Pac-12. Virginia Tech number 4, Texas A&M number 5. That's important. More on that in a moment. Miami of Florida number 6, Oklahoma State number 7, East Carolina number 8. Those are the top 8. So those are the teams that, if it all goes chalk, would be hosting super regionals in the next round after this weekend's regional round. Number 9, Texas. Number 10, North Carolina. Number 11, Southern Miss. Number 12, Louisville. That's where Oregon will be going. Then number 13, Florida. Number 14, Auburn. Number 15, Maryland. And number 16, Georgia Southern. The Louisville Regional for the Ducks. They will face Big Ten tournament champ Michigan at 4 o'clock Pacific time on Friday. 3:45 pregame show with myself here on the Oregon Sports Network. It'll be at Jim Patterson Stadium. The number 12 seed Louisville will face Southeast Missouri State at 11 a.m. in the opening game. These are all Pacific times. If you look at the NCAA bracket, a lot of times it'll list it in the Eastern time, so it's a 7 o'clock local time first pitch for the Ducks against Michigan in Louisville. But Oregon, the number 2 seed in the region after finishing 35-23 in 4th place in the Pac-12 Conference, an 18-12 league record. The Ducks are making their 9th postseason appearance and their 7th since the program restarted before the 2009 season. Oregon has advanced to the championship game of 4 of the last 5 regionals that the Ducks have played in while advancing to the NCAA Super Regionals 10 years ago in 2012. 10 years ago. Does it feel like it's been 10 years since that Super Regional where the Ducks hosted it here at PK Park? It seems like it's still a relatively young program, Oregon baseball, in the modern era, but it just doesn't feel like that was 10 years ago. It also doesn't feel like 2009 was that long ago, but that's when Oregon restarted the program. The meeting between the Ducks and the Wolverines will be the first in the history of the 2 programs, and Oregon has also never played Louisville or Southeast Missouri State. So regardless of who the Ducks play in Game 2 of the regional, it's going to be a first in program history. So Louisville, the number 12 seed nationally. That means that the Ducks were probably 4 or 5 spots away from being a regional host. It tells you how close Oregon was in that final resume of the year. And I thought it was interesting watching the selection show. And, of course, there's always going to be the pundits who say, well, somebody like NC State should have gotten in. Well, what I was interested in is hearing about how they picked the different host sites. Because, for example, Oregon ended the season at number 28 in the RPI, much lower than the Ducks were heading into the weekend. They had gotten into the top 20 in the RPI before the Pac-12 tournament and then dropped a few spots. Gonzaga actually ended up finishing 1 spot above Oregon in that RPI ranking. Gonzaga was number 27. They were also kind of a bubble team for maybe hosting a regional. So number 28, that's where Oregon finished, and the Ducks played the 6th toughest schedule in the country. The 6th toughest schedule in the country. Wow. You know, and for most of the season, Oregon was maybe the toughest strength of schedule in the country. So Oregon's battle-tested. But the Ducks have also, I think, it would be safe to say, not played their best baseball consistently. They're looking for consistency in the NCAA regionals. That's what I'm looking for, especially against a team like Michigan that we've seen them in recent years, the Wolverines, go on runs. Traditionally speaking, the Big Ten teams and the teams that play in the northern portion of the country, they tend to get better as the year goes on. I'll never forget George Horton talking about this with me one time, that the teams that are in that part of the country, because they get more practice time outside later in the year, they tend to get better as the season moves on. Well, Michigan's the Big Ten champ. Mark Wasikowski, familiar with Michigan during his 3 years at Purdue, of course, played against this Wolverines team. I think Michigan's a great opponent for the Ducks. And, you look, one of the last 64 teams playing, all these teams are here for a reason. All these teams have qualities that can beat you. That also means that you've got qualities that can win games. I think that if Oregon gets the pitching performances that we've become accustomed to late in the season, and then the offense starts firing on all cylinders again, this team's going to be really tough to beat. The other thing I will say, I think Oregon is a very difficult team to scout. You walk into a regional, it's a lot more about you than it is about your opponent, right? There's not a lot of time to put together a scouting report now. It's just a few days traveling, getting ready for that matchup with Michigan. I'm curious to see how this team comes out and performs. They've got a sour taste in their mouth after going 0-2 in the desert. And the offense was not top to bottom good, I didn't think, in the Pac-12 tournament. They're going to need to be against Michigan. First time the two teams will ever meet in Michigan. They got hot down the stretch. It's a report on the Wolverines that sounds simple, but got hot as the season moved forward. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. Jordan Brenner's going to be in for me tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday as well, because I'll be traveling with the team out to Louisville. He'll have more of the scouting report and the breakdown. I do want to go through the national tournament a little bit. Quick timeout. When we come back, Mark Wasikowski, Tanner Smith, Colby Summers, they all met with the media after the selection was announced yesterday. We have that for you coming up. Ducks headed to Louisville, a Friday 4 o'clock first pitch on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by Ncaa and the Ad Council.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Oregon baseball opening the regional round with a 4 o'clock Pacific time first pitch against Michigan. I saw Richard asking about, is that 4 o'clock Louisville time or Oregon time? That's Oregon time. Pacific time, it'll be a 4 o'clock first pitch and an 11 a.m. first pitch for Louisville and Southeast Missouri State out in Kentucky. The Ducks will play hopefully, the winner of Louisville Southeast Missouri State. Remember, it's a double elimination bracket, very similar to the Pac-12 tournament, the way that the regional round works. You win the regional, you advance to the 3-game series that is the Super Regional in the second weekend of the NCAA baseball tournament. Michigan is a team that got hot as the season moved forward. So to finish the regular season, the Wolverines ended up playing 5 in the Big Ten tournament. It was quite the run for Michigan. I don't think they would have gotten in to the NCAA tournament had they not won that matchup with Rutgers in the Big Ten championship. So they beat Illinois 7-5. They beat Maryland 15-8. Maryland's one of the 16 hosts. They're the number 15 seed. They then lost to Iowa 3-7 before coming back the next day and beating Iowa 13-1 in 7 innings. And then in that championship game, they beat Rutgers 10-4. That's how the Wolverines got to where they ended up needing to be in order to win the championship. That's how they got into the postseason. They also won a series with Rutgers during the final regular season weekend. They beat Rutgers 9-6, then they beat them 9-7. Then the Scarlet Knights got one back with an 18-12 win over the Wolverines. They finished 12-12 in Big Ten play, 32-26 overall. They were 11-12 away from home and 7-5 in neutral games. One thing that I was looking at is it's two teams that can really swing the bats. Just taking a look at the offenses, 284. That's the overall average for a Michigan team that could hit the long ball, too. 82 home runs for Michigan over the course of the season. Joe Stewart hit 344, and Clark Elliott also hit 344. Two guys with double-digit home runs. They've got 5 players, Michigan does, with double-digit home runs, and one guy who's at 9 home runs. That is Ted Burton. They can hit. So I think that this could be a game where some runs are scored, and that means that the Oregon offense is going to have to get to their pitching a little bit, and that has been the issue for Michigan this year. A 6.81 earned run average for Michigan as a staff. No one on their pitching staff has an ERA below 3.95, and in fact only 3 players have an ERA below 5. There could be some runs scored in this game. And just to give you an idea of where that stacks up with the Ducks, well, we've been talking all about how Oregon can really swing it, but the offense has been a little bit inconsistent at times. Well, I said that Michigan hit 82 home runs. Well, the Ducks hit 72 home runs this year. Oregon has 3 players with double-digit home runs. Wolverines had 5. I think that Oregon, though, probably saw better pitching over the course of the season, and although Michigan has those big boppers, they're a very top-heavy lineup. Oregon as a squad hit 306. More than 20 points better than what Michigan did over the course of its season. And talking about the pitching staff, the Ducks, so, I say that there's only 3 guys with a sub-5 earned run average for Michigan. Well, Oregon's got 4 guys with a sub-3 ERA, and, well, a lot of guys with a sub-5 ERA. So I think that you give the edge to Oregon just looking statistically, but Michigan's on a little bit of a hot streak right now. Though in 5 games, had to use some pitching. Maybe you give Oregon the edge there. I don't know. What does all this matter anyway? Guess we'll all find out 4 o'clock on Friday, won't we? 4 o'clock Pacific time on Friday. Mark Wasikowski met with the media yesterday, broke it down as the Ducks disappointed in their performance in the desert, but now they're going to Louisville, and they're taking on Michigan in the NCAA tournament. 4 o'clock first pitch, 3:45 pregame show Pacific time here on the Oregon Sports Network. Here's Waz.
Your initial reaction from being named in the Louisville region? What do you think about it?
Great opportunity. Looking forward to getting on the field again today with our guys to help get them prepared for the regional for sure. Excited.
What do the next few days look like for you guys?
Practice Tuesday, depart Wednesday, practice Thursday, play Friday.
What have the past few days looked like for you guys once you got home from Scottsdale?
Well, we had a travel day, which was an interesting travel day where we had about 6 different flights. We got back, we took 1 day off, and then we had a great practice yesterday.
What happened with the flights? Is it just you guys have a long layover, or?
No, it's just when you're traveling with 50 people on it's not easy, especially today right now with travel. It's just 50 people. It's hard to get flights around the country, and it's just group gets spread out, and you're on 6 different flights.
How much does the experience of last year's regional help you guys going into this one?
I think a ton. You know, I mean, the more experience you can get, that's only there to help you. And so I'd way rather be experienced than inexperienced. And for us to have been in the regional last year, regional finals last year, be able to learn the positives and the negatives with what happened, tremendous. You know, I think that'll be a huge advantage for us.
You guys have had some moments this year of some real lows, like after UCLA or Oregon State, but you guys have both bounced back. What do you think it is about this team that has you guys so resilient this season?
Well, I don't know. I think everybody that's going into postseason play right now has had some moments that they're not proud of and that they are proud of, and the teams that are suiting up this coming week are the ones that figured out how to overcome some bad moments and turn them into positives in the future weeks. And those teams are the ones that are playing this coming week. Maybe with the exception of Tennessee. I don't know if Tennessee had any real lulls in their deal. Everybody else sure has. And so, you know, being resilient, getting back off the deck, understanding that you play in a heck of a conference, and so it's just not easy. You know, when you beat Stanford 2 out of 3, and Stanford's a number 2 national seed, that should tell you that you can beat anybody at any given time. And then there's some other games that you look at and you go, wow, okay, well, we could lose to anybody at any time. And so the difference between those games is really a mentality and understanding that, boy, you need to be at your best at this level. And now with 64 teams in the tournament, and you're one of them, the team that plays the best is going to be the one that finishes on top. And everybody's 0-0 right now, which is really a lot of fun, you know. New season.
If I'm not mistaken, you haven't really traveled that far east this year, so how do you think your team will make that adjustment, and what are kind of some of the challenges there?
Well, we'll travel by air, so we'll make the adjustment by getting on the airplane and going a little further than usual. And then when we get there, I think we're going to do, you know, a lot of the similar stuff that we do in practices and stuff like that to prepare. There may be a special thing or two that we need to do in terms of an opponent that we get to play. Michigan with Coach Backish, Big Ten conference champion. Coach Backish, a personal friend of mine, very good coach. You know, they're going to have 2 left-handed starters, 2 right-handed starters to choose from. They're a very balanced club. They like to run the bases aggressively. Pulled off a double squeeze in the conference tournament, I think, final game just the other day that we were watching. And, you know, Coach Baxter is a person that's going to have his team very well prepared. So our job's just to worry about us and get our team prepared for a very competitive Michigan team on day 1 of that regional.
Did you guys overlap in your respective coaching careers? Did you coach anywhere together?
No, we never coached anywhere together. I coached in the Big Ten during my stay out there at Purdue while he was at Michigan, though.
How do you think, if at all, does the Pac-12 tournament, that tournament style, get you guys maybe prepared for a regional?
I don't know if it's Pac-12 tournament that is going to get you prepared or whatever. I think just the long of the season, the grind of the season probably prepares you best. You know, our schedule's in the top 10 strength of schedule in the entire country. Some of them, a couple of things had us number 1 strength of schedule in the entire country. We're in the top 10 in the RPI the entire year. You know, I think that probably prepares us and our team. You know, when you're playing against the best, that means you're going to take some lumps. That means it's going to be some low points as well as some high points if you play well, and we did. The body of work was really strong. For us to get the opportunity to go to Louisville Regional, I think it's fantastic. I love it. Very familiar with the Louisville field itself, you know, and the lay of the land out there. Having spent a lot of time in the Midwest. And then, you know, just excited to get into a tournament with those other 3 teams I'm very familiar with Dan McDonald being the head coach at Louisville, and Sawyer's coaching at Southeast Missouri State, which is a place where I started my coaching career at Division I level. So it's just really exciting for us personally as well, and I'm looking forward to getting our team ready to play in this regional.
What does it mean to you to face a team where you started your D1 coaching career, now at Oregon and a Power 5 level school?
Well, I don't know that we're going to play them. We may not. I know we're going to play Michigan, and so our focus is strictly on Michigan.
And I know there's a lot of teams, a lot of regionals here, but are there any other regionals that kind of stood out to you in terms of just an interesting one to potentially watch down the road?
I think they're all interesting. I'm a big fan of college baseball, but I didn't see any of the other regions. I don't really care.
Awesome. I'm curious what your thoughts were on the kind of overall format of the Pac-12 tournament. If you'd like to see anything tweaked, and I know some people took issue with some of the late start times early in the tournament.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure those things will be discussed in the Pac-12 head coaches meetings next fall. what they did right, what they did wrong. I thought the efforts of the Pac-12 were outstanding. I thought being on the national stage for the Pac-12 conference is a big deal. Instead of playing conference weekend, we were playing a conference championship in a tournament. Twerks that we need to do, and tweaks or whatever in that deal, fine. We can do all that kind of stuff later on down the road, assess what the positives and negatives were about the tournament. I think they nailed it in terms of just having a conference tournament. I think it's fantastic for our league. Congratulate Stanford for winning that tournament. They had the best team in the regular season and the best team for the weekend in the tournament. So congratulations to Coach Esker and his staff.
Mark Wasikowski talking with the media ahead of the regional. That was after they found out their selection. Now the scouting has begun on Michigan. And don't you love the fact that Waz was already like, well, they got 2 left-handed starters, 2 right-handed starters to choose from. They run the bases aggressively. Geez, Waz, you just found out you were playing them like 10 minutes ago. That's Mark Wasikowski for you there in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. So the scouting has begun. The Ducks are going to practice this afternoon if you're live with us here in the 1 o'clock hour. Then we'll travel tomorrow out to Louisville. They'll practice there. Get ready for the matchup with Michigan, 4 o'clock Pacific time on Friday, 3:45 pregame show here on the Oregon Sports Network. Jordan Brenner in for me tomorrow. Rob Mosley will join him to talk about Rob's long stay in Scottsdale. He was there a long time with women's golf, baseball, and men's golf. Rob was out there for a long time. Jordan's going to talk to him about that. And when we come back, Tanner Smith and Colby Summers, 2 of the veteran leaders for this Oregon team, they met with the media previewing the regional on Selection Monday. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece, and it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Tanner Smith, Colby Summers, couple of the senior leaders for this Oregon baseball team before they travel to Louisville. The Ducks taking on Michigan in the Louisville Regional. The Cardinals are hosting it. They'll play Southeast Missouri State at 11. Ducks will follow on Friday and play at 4 o'clock. And this is going to be a big-time matchup. For Tanner and Colby, could be their last time putting on the uniform. That's big time. Tanner Smith met with the media.
So you guys got the number two seed in that Louisville region. What did you think after? What was your reaction to getting that region, and what do you think about it?
I'm excited. I've never been out there. You know, a lot of us have never really been out to Kentucky or played there before. So I think, you know, seeing that and seeing the regional that we got paired up with, I think the first initial reaction was just excitement. Absolutely.
You guys think you're better prepared this time around after experiencing what you guys did last year here in Eugene, and kind of going out on the road and knowing what to expect, the talent that's in a regional and what it takes to win that?
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. I think that's a big part. Is the regional last year is it was a learning experience. It was something new for a lot of guys on this roster, and that alongside with the Pac-12 tournament just kind of gives you that. You get a little bit more comfortable with that tournament-like feeling. And so I think, going forward, we'll be a little bit better prepared.
What was the biggest adjustment that you guys kind of took away from last year's regional?
A lot. That it all happens pretty quick. It speeds up. It's 4 games like that. It's you could be playing, really anybody when it comes to, day 3 and that championship game. But, I think it's really just, it's all about composure. It's just staying as yourself with staying with the team identity and sticking with what got you there and continuing that with the games you have in the postseason.
If you're getting eliminated in the Pac-12 tournament, does it feel like you guys sort of get to set the reset button?
Absolutely, it does. I think, it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but, going 0-2 and coming home and watching, the rest of these tournaments on TV kind of gives you what that feeling was like last year, watching super regionals in Omaha from the couch. And, I think that, it lit a fire for us, as a team, and hopefully, going forward propels us a little bit.
A lot of the team returns from last year's regional hosting team. Just how do you think that helps you guys going into this year, even though you're on the road?
Yeah, I think it's big. Like we were talking about earlier, I think, going into it, people kind of know what to expect, what, the format's going to be like. Obviously, none of us have been out there before, so we don't know what the atmosphere might be like, but, that's all part of postseason baseball, and it's what makes it fun.
We haven't talked to you guys since your elimination in ASU. Just what have the last few days been like for the club, for the program? Like, how's practice been? Stuff like that?
Yeah, no, it's been going good. It's like you said, it's been a reset button for sure. It's been about learning from negatives, taking the positives, and furthering those, and really just keeping our eyes set on this postseason and how we're going to go into it as hot as we can.
Tanner Smith meeting with the media there. And, yeah, it is a reset, right? Go into the postseason as hot as you can. That's what everybody's trying to do. Now, the question is how you go about doing that. That's what they're trying to figure out this week. Ron asking, do you know if there will be a special streaming package that will cover the tournament? Says ESPN Plus. Always seem to change station at the last minute. It's going to be the ESPN family of networks. So, yes, it can change between ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, just ESPN Plus for a streaming package. That will continue to change throughout the course of the tournament. So, it's on the ESPN app one way or the other, whether or not it ends up on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN News, however ESPN decides to do it. It's going to be on the ESPN app. ESPN Plus will be the exclusive home for the game on Friday, is my understanding. I do not know when the game times will be, or obviously what the matchups will be and what the TV situation will be for Saturday and Sunday. We don't know yet here at Oregon, actually. We're still waiting on ESPN to determine that with the NCAA. So special package, no. ESPN family of networks, yes. Also via the Varsity app, the GoDucks app, your local Oregon Sports Network affiliate station. We'll have the call on the radio side for you here as well. Colby Summers also met with the media, talking about a little bit the season as a whole and then getting ready to head to Louisville. Colby Summers meeting with the media. It was interesting hearing from another veteran, I thought, heading into the 4 o'clock first pitch on Friday.
Your initial reaction from getting that 2 seed in the Louisville region?
Yeah, we're all super pumped. We were going to be excited wherever they sent us, and it's going to be a lot of fun. The coaches are going to give us the best plan to go in there and win the regional, and that's going to be our mindset is between now and Friday is just preparing and doing everything we can to go in there and win that regional.
How much did last year's regional team help you, or how much do you think it is going to help you going into this year's?
Yeah, I think definitely just gives you, experience playing in postseason baseball. Before that, no one on our team had experience playing in a playoff atmosphere. So I think having that experience definitely helps. But at the same time, we're just going to go in there and play the game that we've been playing all year. And but yeah, I think that definitely helps.
What does it mean to you as a veteran in this program to be going to a second straight regional for a program that hadn't been there in a little bit, to continue to build something here? Yeah,
I mean, I think it's awesome. You know, we've started to kind of shift the culture here, where you know, it's the expectation every year that we're in the postseason. And then you know, hopefully it's more than just making the regional. You know, it's going to Omaha and winning national championships every year. So you know, I think obviously making the postseason 2 years in a row, I think that that shows that we're starting to build some momentum and change the culture here for the better.
Compared to last year when you guys were hosting, is there maybe a little less pressure going in as a 2 seed on the road?
Maybe. I don't think we necessarily had any pressure last year. But I mean, I guess theoretically, you know, we'll be an underdog. You know, we're not the 1 seed, so we're not expected to win. So I think that even gives us some added motivation to go in there and win on the road.
Although you guys didn't get the result you wanted out in Scottsdale, does the tournament style, kind of playing that before this, help a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of gives you, you know, the feel of postseason baseball, and obviously, you know, we went 0-2 and it didn't end up how we wanted to or how we planned. But it does kind of get you prepared for, you know, what this week's going to be like for us with the tournament, and I think it's a good preparation the week before to do that conference tournament.
I know you guys obviously would have wanted to play as long as you could, but is there any relief that you didn't have to kind of torch your bullpen like a couple of the other teams did in Scottsdale? I
mean, yeah, we wanted to, you know, go in there and win that tournament. Obviously, it didn't happen like that, but I mean, you can. There's definitely positives from it, because I know, you know, Oregon State, UCLA, and maybe not so much Stanford, but they, you know, had to use a lot of pitching, and those guys, you know, they might still be feeling that in the end of this week. So, you know, our guys are going to be well rested, and you know, we're going to be ready to go and ready to compete next week.
What's been the energy of the team these last couple of days after coming home from Scottsdale?
I mean, yeah, we obviously after we lost against Arizona State in the second day, we were pretty bummed, but I think we all flushed it pretty quick, and we knew that, you know, there's bigger things ahead of us, and so it's just having a mindset of, you know, flushing what's in the past and focus on improving and preparing for Friday and going in there with the mindset to win.
Do you think your team is better equipped to bounce back from those losses after what happened last year in the regional compared to where you were at before?
I mean, I would say this year we've had some bad streaks, and I think we're a super resilient team. So, you know, going through losing streaks and finding a way to get through that and you know, improve from that. I think that's helped a lot. I'm not exactly sure you're talking about last year.
The regional, after losing the regional, kind of learning from that experience, do you feel like you guys are kind of better equipped to bounce back from tough losses like that?
Yeah, you know, going through that experience, like I said before, being able to get in that playoff atmosphere last year and getting that experience for a lot of guys on our team this year helped a lot, and yeah, I think that definitely helps all of us.
I think it's really interesting hearing Colby Summers talk about and Tanner Smith talk about the way that you learn from those postseason experiences, because it's easy for us all to sit here and say, well, yeah, they've had the experience, they've learned from it. Well, okay, but how do you learn from it? You know, and I thought it was interesting hearing them say, well, you can't replicate that experience. You know, you just can't. That's what the Ducks have done. That's pretty cool to see the Ducks and kind of go inside that mental process. And looking at the entire tournament, I mean, there are some key regions that I want to look at. We're going to do that when we come back. Also talk a little bit more about women's golf, because an NCAA runner-up finish for that team, man, it felt like it could have been a trophy moment. But I think it's a good thing. We'll talk about that next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer starts here at your local Toyota dealer. Come in for huge savings on great Toyotas, like the adventurous RAV4, the sleek Venza, and the Ruby Highlander. For more information, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Summer starts here at your local Toyota dealer. Come in for huge savings on great Toyotas, like the adventurous RAV4, the sleek Venza, and the Ruby Highlander. For more information, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Talking about baseball before we get to women's golf here. Tennessee, I think, is far and away the best team. I mean, you even heard Waz say, like, they maybe haven't had any lulls this year. Well, you know who's going to give them a lull? The best mascot in the field, the Fighting Camels of Campbell. Yes, the Fighting Camels of Campbell are in the Knoxville Regional. I say let's go upset, huh? The Camels take down Georgia Tech, and then in one of the great stories in college sports this year, they take down #1 Tennessee in Knoxville. I don't think it'll happen, but just the Fighting Camels of Campbell, you got to love to see it. One interesting one in Statesboro, Georgia Southern is hosting Texas Tech, UNCG, and Notre Dame. A lot of people had Notre Dame projected as a regional host. Now they're going to the 16-seeded regional, which means they're probably like the first team out of hosting a regional, right? Well, if you win that one, you probably just go to Knoxville to play Tennessee. That's kind of a tough one for Georgia Southern and Notre Dame. Elsewhere, it was a cool story. I thought that Air Force got in for the first time in a long time. It was cool to see Air Force. They're going to Texas. And then Dallas Baptist is also going to Texas, perennially a pretty darn good team. And then in Greenville, East Carolina is the #8 seed. They're the team that would host a super regional if everything goes to the high seed. I think that's kind of an interesting one. Of course, keep your eye on College Station. Texas A&M plays Oral Roberts, and then TCU plays the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana. TCU's a squad that could beat Texas A&M. In fact, they've got a little history between those two teams. So if Texas A&M was to lose and Oregon was to, say, win in Louisville, there could be a super regional in Eugene. It would be pretty fun, wouldn't it? So keep your eye on College Station. If Texas A&M gets upset by TCU, Louisiana, I could see it happening, actually. And then, of course, Louisville, Southeast Missouri State, and then Louisville playing each other, and then Oregon and Michigan. On the other side of the bracket, Gainesville, Florida has Oklahoma there. That could be an interesting one. And then Blacksburg, that's where Gonzaga ended up. The Bulldogs out at #4 seed Virginia Tech. Then on the other side, working your way down the bracket, Stanford as the #2 seed. UCSB is in that region. Ducks saw firsthand how good UCSB can be. Maybe you could pull the upset over the Cardinal. Maryland hosts Wake Forest. Wake Forest finished #6 in the RPI. Does Wake Forest maybe pull an upset over Maryland? We'll see. Chapel Hill, North Carolina has Georgia, VCU, and Hofstra. Stillwater, Oklahoma State, Arkansas. That could be tough on Oklahoma State. Missouri State, and Grand Canyon was one of the last teams in. Grand Canyon got in. Arizona played some close games that I watched with Grand Canyon over the course of this season, and Grand Canyon can swing it. You get into a shootout type situation with Grand Canyon, maybe they could pull the upset there. Arizona got stuck in Miami. Ole Miss is there as well, the number 6 seed. Hurricanes in Coral Gables. And then Southern Miss has LSU. Well, the Ducks know what LSU has done in the past. Auburn, that's where UCLA ended up. Florida State as well. And then Oregon State got New Mexico State to start, then San Diego, and Vanderbilt. Vandy in Corvallis. That's an interesting one. A couple of teams that have been really good over the last 15 years or so. And then I think that San Diego, when they're swinging it, San Diego, who won their conference tournament, they could do some damage there as well. So there's your regions. Starts on Friday. I love Friday in the college baseball tournament. Just so much fun. So much fun from start to finish over the course of the entire day. 4 o'clock first pitch, Pacific time for the Ducks against Michigan, and a 3:45 pregame show. You'll hear it here on our regular Oregon Sports Network platforms. Women's golf in the NCAAs, I was really excited. I was able to get over there. Jordan and I, along with Todd Miles and a few others, we rushed over from baseball after that 9 a.m. first pitch on Wednesday. We were able to see that final round of match play for the Ducks. And they made it interesting against Stanford down the stretch, didn't they? Fell 3-2 to the Cardinal in the NCAA championships of match play, or in that match play round. Best season in program history, though. And it's not close. It is the best season in program history for Derek Radley's team. A really special season. All-Americans. Oregon doubled its all-time All-American count with Cynthia Liu on the second team, Heather Lynn on the second team, Brianna Chacon, honorable mention, and Sophie Kipsgard-Nielsen, honorable mention as well. So the Ducks had 4 All-Americans in their lineup of 5. Yeah, and doubled their all-time All-American count. Well, the Golf Channel chatted with Derek Radley and Monica Vaughn, and you could just hear the emotion in the head coach's voice, the emotion in the assistant coach's voice of the Ducks. Season came to a close as the NCAA runner-up. Derek Radley and Monica Vaughn talking with Golf Channel.
Extremely proud of my team. Certainly disappointed to not win it all, but I told them they're champions in my books. And I'm so proud of their golf, but I'm more proud of who they are as young women. And my senior is everything. And she changed this program. And I'm forever grateful. And we're going to be back. This is just the start for Oregon women's golf. So we're going to use this experience. We got 4 out of the 5 coming back next year. But just what a dream season. And one, I'm forever thankful to be their leader, and they make me so proud. No doubt, and I couldn't do it without my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He brought us here and changed everything. And I want to give a big shout out to my beautiful wife, Sarah, and my kiddos at home, Palmer, Ryder, and Azalea. Just thankful for everything. But assistant coach Monica Vaughn, best in the country. This was such a special group of young ladies, and they're champions to me.
How will you keep growing after this experience?
Yeah, I feel like I'm growing every day. They teach me just as much as I teach them. So we're gonna use this. We'll be back next year. I definitely thought we started a little timid today. I think just the moment might have caught up to us a little bit, but man, did they fight at the end. And that's what Coach Mo and I were just talking about. It was so fun, so proud. Hats off again to Stanford. Incredible win and great season, but extremely proud of our fight and an incredible year. It's hard. Hats off to Stanford. Congratulations. Incredible season. What a program. And Walker and her team, really special. I'm so proud of my Ducks. We gave it every last effort until the very end. We were down in a lot of matches early. I think we were a little bit hesitant right out of the gates, But I'm so proud of how they fought all the way to the end, and they're champions in my book.
This week, how many memories and how proud are you of this team?
We will never forget this. Like, these 4 years have been just incredible. And I say 4 because we started with Heather, and she was like our freshman. We say we were freshmen together. And so I told them, all year, like when I won and when Derek won, we think about that win every single day, and not so much the win, but just the experience in playing in the final match. And so these girls, they fought so hard today. I was so proud of their fight all week, and they will never forget this. This will live with them forever, and they will always be NCAA finalists.
Monica Vaughn and Derek Radley talking there. That's pretty cool, huh? Thanks to Golf Channel for being there, truthfully. Coach Radley said that a lot heading into the championship, that hey, this is a big deal, and Golf Channel makes it feel like a big deal. It felt like a big deal being out there and walking the course, truthfully, for both the men's team and the women's team. Just heard from the women's team there. The NCAA runner-up, best season in program history, and pretty incredible for the Ducks. Meanwhile, for men's golf, it was a little bit of a slow start on Monday, doomed Oregon's chances of playing its way into the stroke play quarterfinals of the NCAA championship. So remember, it was the cut down in stroke play, and then next thing you know, it's match play. The Ducks are going to be on the outside looking in. Match play going on the men's side today. A champion will be crowned tomorrow. Needing to make up 10 strokes on the 8th place team entering the day, Oregon made 7 birdies on the way to a collective round of 26 over 306. Ducks ended the day at 15th overall in the NCAA tournament. Top 15 finish for Oregon men's golf. Casey Martin said, quote, "It was a tough way to finish, but we're grateful to be able to play today, and I think we learned a lot. We just need to get a little better and make it back and give it another run." Greyhawk will host the NCAA championships again in the spring of 2023. Oregon will return all 5 players who participated in this year's event. Ducks posted the 15th top 15 finish in program history to cap a year that included 2 tournament wins and 7 top 5 finishes for Oregon men's golf. Ducks had much to celebrate and to learn from in the wake of their first NCAA tournament championship appearance since 2018. Now remember, they were the runner-ups. They were the national runner-up that year. Few years off, and then they got there, a top 15 finish for Oregon men's golf. And Casey Martin, I want to close with this because I think it's important. What we were talking about with baseball earlier, he said, quote, "You can simulate this kind of environment. You cannot simulate this kind of environment. You've got to go through it, and you've got to get humbled a little bit, and then have it help you get better, and we will get better." That's Casey Martin. So all 5 men's golfers that participated in the NCAA championship, they're back next year. 4 of the 5 women's golfers that were number 2 in the NCAA championships back next year. I don't think that Oregon men's and women's golf is going anywhere. And man, isn't that fun that every spring we're going to be talking about them, because Casey Martin and Derek Radley have 2 programs that are firing on all cylinders right now and winning at a high clip. When we come back, NCAA championships for track and field are upon us, and men's basketball's got a new transfer that's official. We'll close the show after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
These are the sounds of a dinner. A dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Back on Nuggets Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Talked about a lot of NCAA championships. Pretty cool for Oregon track and field. Multiple days. You know, that's what always gets me with track and field is the amount that the student athletes are competing, the amount the coaches are keeping track of what's going on throughout the course of an entire few races, a few events. And I think it was a successful weekend for Oregon track and field. Let's start with maybe the headliner. Mekhi Williams ran the second fastest time in collegiate history in the 100. Second fastest time in collegiate history in the 100. Oregon men's track and field team collected 6 national qualifiers on Friday at the West Preliminary, pushing the team's total to 9 entries for the NCAA championships that will run June 8th through 11th at Hayward Field. And among Day 3's highlights, Mekhi Williams broke his own Oregon record in a sizzling 9.86 performance in the 100 meters. So the Ducks get, I think, in a pretty good spot for the most part. The women of Oregon added 12 national qualifiers on the final day of the NCAA West prelim out in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Overall, the Ducks will have 14 entries in 9 events at the NCAA championships on the women's side. So couple that with the men's 9 NCAA qualifiers. The Ducks will have a total of 23 entries when the NCAA's best come to Hayward Field next week. The Ducks are looking, I think, forward to another podium finish in both men's track and field and women's track and field. But I will say the depth of events continues to amaze me. You know, there was this idea that you're not going to have a good sprint program at Oregon. It's always going to be middle distance. Occasionally you'll have someone who's good in a field event. No, I mean 5,000 and 10,000, 1,500, javelin, triple jump, the 4x100 relay team for the men, 800, 100, and decathlon. Those are the entries for the Oregon men. For the women, 200, shot put, triple jump, shot put and discus, 100 meter, 4x100 meter relay, 100 and 200 for Jasmine Montgomery, 100 for Kemba Nelson, the steeplechase, the triple jump, the 1,500, the 400 meter hurdles. I mean, it's depth of events for Oregon track and field. Also, welcome Jermaine Cosnard, 6'4" guard from South Carolina, joining the team. I'm traveling to Louisville. Jordan's got you tomorrow. See ya.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Neil Armstrong waited